Stephen,
Yeah,
glad you're here, man.
nice to be here.
Likewise, and I just want to say, hey, we're gonna do like an interview slash conversation kind of thing, more of a conversation, and then we'll go into a Q&A with the audience because we got a lot of Arrow fans and a lot of Stephen Amell fans.
Okay,
And so let's hit it off, man. You were born in Toronto, right?
I was born in Toronto, yeah.
Can you tell us a little something about your early life and the early days?
You mean like my childhood?
Yeah, like what was it like growing up in Canada as a kid, and how did you get into acting later on, like stuff like that?
I mean, I liked growing up in Toronto a lot. I love that city. I've been back there to film a few times. But you know, I don't know. It was
just cool.
I was just a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. So yeah, you were in a bunch of great TV shows, man. Like everybody knows you from Arrow, obviously, but you did Seas on Miami, NCIS, LA. Like I said, The Vampire Diaries. Can you share with the audience some of the stuff that you learned along the way that you brought with you to the Arrow thing and Flash and stuff like that?
The biggest thing that I brought with me to Arrow was, as the lead of the show, you're very much an ambassador. So I was very, very fortunate to work with a lot of actors that were they were generous and they were thoughtful and they made me feel comfortable when I was a guest star. So whenever I would have someone come on Arrow, I would always try to do the same thing. I'd always try to have people over for dinner, or have a Super Bowl party, or what have you, but just try to foster a community so that when someone comes on the show, they feel comfortable, because if they feel comfortable, they're going to do a good job, and if they do a good job, I get to keep my job.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it does. So it's kind of like a layered way of thinking, and very social, very nice, actually.
Or you can call it Machiavellian.
Not that at all. But so listen, man. Here's the thing. I don't know if you guys knew this. He played a Dutch character once, and you all know him, Joran van der Sloot. He played Joran van der Sloot in what was the name of it? It was the Justice for Natalie Holloway.
Are we really going to talk about this?
I just wanted to say.
Yeah, no, I did.
It's a great thing you did that, because I mean, we didn't really know a lot about that film. I think it's good that it's been made. But what was it like for you to play a Dutch guy on Aruba? That's a different kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it was really, really nice, but it was a bit of an isolating performance because the character that I played he's a sociopath, right? So he doesn't have a lot of friends. So I was in New Orleans. We shot in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I was by myself for most of the time because anytime that he would have a scene with somebody, it would typically end with him killing them. So it's like I'm not really working with anybody.
Right.
And it's also weird when you're playing someone who's a real life character who is, not straight up just not the best human being, and then people come up to you and they're like, you're so much like him. And you're like, that's not a compliment.
It's kind of different. Yeah.
I mean, they mean it as a compliment, but I don't take it that way.
I totally get that, but I do want to say the scenes at the ending when you're playing him in jail, and then Natalie's mother comes in and she wants to have a conversation with you. I thought you did that in a really great way, where you perform as a Dutch guy speaking English, and the first words were really spot on. Like the accent was good, man. I mean, you were not like him, but you portrayed it real well. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah, the acting.
That was actually really funny scene. I remember our director there just basically told me to mess with the other character. I would just take long pauses and silences, and she would become incredibly frustrated.
Yeah.
And that was really neat.
No, it was well executed.
Thank you.
As a craftsman. So I'm not saying you look like.
I know.
So listen, man, we're gonna move on. Hey, are there still any fans of Arrow in the place? Listen, man, hold on. We gotta do this the right way. Yeah.
Hang on, just really quickly. Could you guys help me with something? Could you help me with a video message? Is that okay? Okay. So I'm really missing my kiddo, our daughter. She has a swim meet today, and it's What time is it right now?
Probably 6 hours.
Okay, right, so 9 hours over there, because she's on the West Coast. So I'm going to pretend like I'm sending a message, and then I'm going to turn the phone around and point to you guys. And when I do that, can you please yell, "Put your goggles on!" Like that? Is that okay?
Okay, shall we rehearse that once?
You want to practice? Yeah, okay, practice. Okay, so let's imagine. Do my thing, do my thing, do my thing, and 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
That's gonna work, Steve.
Hey, buddy. Hey. I hope you have a wonderful swim meet. I'm in Utrecht right now, working really hard, and I just want you to remember, swim fast, swim smooth, duck your head, and thank you, everybody. Hey, I love you. I miss you. Bye-bye.
That was nice. That was great. Stephen Amell, and you guys joining him and doing this message is amazing. He's going to send it right now. I'm going to continue the show right now. That was great, man. So what I wanted to say is we right here. You guys are Arrow fans. My name is Brain Power. I'm interviewing friggin' Stephen Amell. So make some noise. Right. Oliver Queen and Arrow. That was 8 seasons, 170 episodes.
That's right.
Right. So, I gotta ask this question. You've been asked this a million times, but how did you experience working on Arrow, and how did you bring that character to life the way you did?
Well, I was very, very fortunate. The director of the pilot, David Nutter, who's probably the most prolific director of pilots in the history of television. I think he's had like 20 pilots that have made it to air. Like he did Smallville, he did Supernatural, he did Alias. He directed the Red Wedding episode of Game of Thrones. Like he is a master. He's a genius. And when it came to it, I didn't have a huge knowledge of the Green Arrow mythos. I really just put myself in his hands. And our executive producers, Mark Guggenheim and Andrew Kreisberg and Greg Berlanti, at the time, I put myself in their hands. As we moved through the years and through the seasons, I think you start to see a little bit more of my personality in the character. But in the beginning, they very much wanted him to be, sort of a standoffish, guy that was dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. And so it was really fun. And I got to wear a superhero suit. Have you ever worn a superhero suit?
Have I what?
Have you ever worn a superhero suit?
No.
How cool is it to wear a superhero suit? Very cool. That's what I thought.
Love that. I do want to say I'm a big fan of Green Arrow, the classic DC comics, especially the Mike Grell one.
Yep.
Like he was amazing with like flipping the storyline and just the way he drew it. So when I saw you performing Arrow, it was just such a great, almost like a new and improved follow-up to that, because you dealing with the post-traumatic stress disorder thing. I thought that was executed so well. And can you tell us something about behind the scenes? Is that like how do you get into certain scenes like that? Some of the confrontations, with Ra's al Ghul and stuff like that, and just you performing Arrow. Thinking of the backstory that DC created for this character, which is pretty deep and different. What did it take as an actor? Like, is that something you could elaborate on, or?
Honestly, I joke about the whole superhero suit.
Right.
But when I put it on, it changed my posture. Like the whole Arrow voice and the way that I interacted, and you feel this city and all of that stuff. That really came out of the way that the suit, the way that the hood made me feel. Like when I put it on, it was like, yeah, And but we also, we were kind of flying by the seat of our pants. at the beginning. We legitimately, for the first several episodes, we couldn't figure out how Oliver, as the Green Arrow, would interact with people. Like, what would his voice sound like?
Yeah.
We went through many iterations of it. Like, in one I would whisper, and then finally they were like, oh, we can just modulate his voice.
Right.
Yeah, which seems like the thing that you should have done from the jump, but it took us a second to figure it out.
But it's so spot on. And so could you say it's almost like an organic thing when you wear the suit and the outfit? Because it's like, I've seen all your other stuff, obviously, as I know that you're on a role as well. But it's somehow, it just matches. It's just right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of physical stuff going on too. And I know, you're a very healthy, working out type of dude. You know what I'm saying? But how do you prep?
Go on.
You look great, Stephen.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's up? But how do you prep physically for that? Not just as an actor. Like, is there any regimen you follow? Or?
Yeah, I never really done any on-screen combat. So when I got cast in the role, I was in decent shape. Then I went crazy for the pilot. Because you're excited, right? It's like you have all the adrenaline and stuff like that. So it was very easy to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and work out for 2 hours. But I really did learn a lot about, as Oliver Queen has people like, what sort of martial art did you use? And what I actually did was I became very well versed in the art of fighting on screen. Because the way that you throw a punch, the way that you react to a punch, the way that you sell something, depends almost entirely on where the camera is, right?
Right, yeah.
Like
lighting, camera angles, the whole thing.
Right. If you and I were fighting,
right?
Okay.
I don't want to do that though.
I know. And let's say that the camera was over your left shoulder, and I was throwing a punch. The punch goes this way. It goes that way. Whereas if the camera's over your right shoulder, I punch like this. And it's interesting. And you learn it over time. Yeah.
The last punch you did is more like almost like a DC old school comic kind of move.
Pow.
Yeah. Great. So out of 170 episodes, Stephen, can you share with the audience and with myself, what was the craziest thing you went through during filming, on or off set, during those 170 episodes?
That's a great question.
Probably not the easiest one, but inquiring minds want to know, right?
In the 5th season, I think it was the 17th episode of the 5th season, Adrian Chase captures Oliver and tortures him for an entire episode. And it was just me on the ground with handcuffs on, chained to the floor. And it was the entire day of that. And it became very challenging because my character is supposed to lunge at Adrian, and I kept breaking the chains because they used fake ones. So my hands are handcuffed, and I kept breaking the chains, and twice I fell flat on my face.
Man,
He very easily could have broken my collarbone or
no way.
my neck, So that was a very challenging day.
So what are these things made of? Like plastic or foam, or what is it?
They were made of plastic, and then I took a lunch break, and when I came back, they were real. So, yeah.
And also, I want to know, 8 seasons, 170 episodes, and then also kind of like the spin-off thing into The Flash, if you will.
Yep.
Was that Because I just spoke to Paul Blackthorne. He was like, it's kind of like shots simultaneously. Is that true? Like, were you guys working on 2 shows at once? Or?
Yeah, so the first time that I went over and I did The Flash, we were shooting the 2nd season of Arrow, and I was like shooting episode 20 and shot from, by the way, I feel fine, I just don't sound fine, I promise you. I was shooting episode 20 of Arrow and shot from like 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, got in the car, went and shot The Flash for like 2.5 hours, and then went back to filming Arrow.
That's crazy.
So when we would do the crossovers, I would just get an old school, like I would have one of our first assistant directors, and he would put together like an old school calendar, right, so that I would know where I was going, what I was doing, what show I was on, what character I was playing, and like what was happening in the story. And that would happen over the course of like 4 or 5 weeks. And it was a lot.
But did you get any sleep? Because so literally you...
No. I didn't sleep for almost 8 years. No.
You don't look like it though.
Thank you.
But no, I'm saying you're going from one show to the other, so it's like literally 12 hours of this, say like 2.5 of that, then back to the other one. That's a lot of focus, and that's like a challenge, right? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, listen, the crossovers were always something special, and there's something that as a fan of TV, I look forward to. So that's why we're doing it. We're doing it so that people can enjoy it. And you think about that because it's a lot of work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great answer. I got you. So there's a difference between acting and voice acting, obviously. And having done some voice acting myself as a musician, I found it to be very rhythmical, and you got to kind of like follow the mouthing of the cartoon or whatever it is you're mouthing and syncing. But how did you apply yourself to doing the Green Arrow and Vixen? Because you did that, right? Green Arrow voice.
Yeah.
Because that was great, bro.
Well, it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit outsized. You know, you have to try a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
You feel stupid when you're doing voice acting because it's so performative that you're like, I must sound stupid. But then you trust the people that are putting the project together that they are going to show you in a good light.
Right. Hey, I got a fun question, man.
Okay.
Is it true that you can play a mean mouth trombone? Would you mind showing off?
Give me a song.
Song?
Yeah.
All right. You got what's the name of that song? The 1-800 number? 1-900 number? You know that one?
No.
Okay. Let's get a song from the audience. Don't try. That's one of my songs. He probably doesn't know it. Don't fly.
Do you guys know that song, like When the Saints Go Marching In?
When the Saints Go Marching In?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, right?
Ish.
Let's try that one.
No one has ever asked me to do that before, and I have been patiently waiting. Thank you.
Thanks, man. That's great. Hey, Stephen Amell played mouth trombone by yours truly, Great Power. That's fun. Dutch going on. Having enough Vegas in there. So we're gonna move into the Q&A, but I got a couple more questions. One of them is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You were in Out of the Shadows as Casey Jones. Any Turtles fans here? So what was that experience like?
That was amazing. Especially shooting in New York City.
Right.
Such a cool thing. You know, it actually helped me a lot as an actor. It felt like it was a real like moment of maturity for me. Because I'm a pretty particular person, and sometimes I would allow things that ultimately were not important to like upset me a little bit or throw me off. And then you go film in New York City and you just have to make do. Right? Like people are yelling at you on the street while you're in a take. So it was an amazing experience.
Gotcha. So the setting was different, the city is different, and it kind of felt good actually.
Yeah, it actually really made me appreciate how specifically curated my experience on Arrow was. It made me really, really appreciate it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I got one more question before we move into the Q&A, and I want to thank you personally for the inspiration, man. You're an inspirational guy. I love Arrow, and I follow your work. And just as an artist myself, just cool to see your discipline, and you know, you're focused. Also, I want to say he has a brand, Sinceriously.
Yeah.
That's the brand. Can you say something about that? Because that's like a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, there are people here in Sinceriously shirts and stuff like that, and I've got a new one that's underneath here. Sinceriously was born out of, I was at San Diego Comic-Con in 2014 or 2015, and I was doing the Nerd HQ panel that Zach Levi does, and he gave me the Sunday morning at 9 a.m. time slot.
What?
And he and I were at the Nerd HQ party until like 5:30 in the morning previously, so I could barely speak. Not unlike right now. And I tried to say sincerely and seriously, and it came out sinceriously. And so we gave Jesus. So we created a charity campaign that supports mental health initiatives. And yeah, you can go check it out. It's on my Insta, Facebook. It's very cool.
Great. Sinceriously, check out the brand. Als je wil, op zijn Instagram. You take some water if you want. I got one final.
Is that a suggestion?
Yeah, it's a suggestion to help you out. I got one final question, then we're going to move into the Q&A. Als je een vraag wil stellen aan Stephen Amell, ga vast bij de microfoon staan. House rule though, no questions about autographs or pictures, because we can do that all in the square. He's going to be there with his team, so that's just the only rule we have. Final question before we move into the Q&A. I just want to know, bro, what makes you tick? Like, what's your drive and passion? Where does it come from?
What makes me tick right now?
General and right now.
My kids.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Hey man, make some noise for Stephen.
There was, thank you.
The message is, the kid is going to love that, right?
Yeah, I hope so. There's someone came by the photo ops earlier, and they had like a little kiddo. I think it was maybe 2-3 months old, and I'm going to see my son. He's 6 months old. I'm going to see him on Monday. Is it you guys? Are you waving at me? Okay. I definitely, I stole these people's baby.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Sweet, that's nice. So the Q&A starts right about now. First question, let's go.
How it was to play The Flash?
How was it playing The Flash? I don't know, it went by so fast.
Can you repeat it a bit slower?
How was it playing The Flash? It was incredible. Anytime that I get to work with Grant Gustin is always really special. So putting on his suit and all that stuff, it was just like, I don't know, that's why I'm a fan, you know. It was very, very cool.
Great.
Thank you.
Next one. What's up, kid? Alles goed?
Hello, Stephen. I'm your biggest fan.
Is that true?
Yes, yes.
Cool.
Could you please say you have failed to sing in your Arrow voice?
What's your name?
Ryan.
Ryan, you have failed this city.
Nice one. Next up.
Hi Stephen. Welcome to the beautiful, exotic Netherlands. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Look at me, grown-ass man, rushing to the mic. But the point is that for me, and for people like me around here, this is a really emotional moment, seeing you here, talking to you, saying hi. Because, you know, throughout all these years, the Arrowverse and the Arrow years, sometimes it didn't make sense. but we had one thing that was always there and felt warm. And that really made an impact on so many people, including myself.
Thank you.
You felt that impact.
I'm feeling it right now. You know, we did a little meet and greet earlier, like 20, 25 people, and people share their stories. They share stories about like happy moments. They share stories about grief. John Barrowman, who obviously was on the show, told me something during the first season. He said, that first year of the show, you're like a guest in people's homes. But then once you're back for the second season, and the third season, and so on and so forth, stop being a guest in people's homes, and you become like family. And that's how I feel when I come out and I interact with people, and I hear their stories, and I see the genuine kindness that they show to me. It's really overwhelming. You know, typically when I do a show like this, at the end of the day, I need to take 5-10 minutes by myself and just reflect, because it just fills me up inside. It's really special, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great answer, great question. Next one.
Hi, if you could play any other character in the Arrowverse, who would you play?
Felicity.
Wow. Yeah, that's, I mean,
She's smart.
Hi.
Hi.
I loved it when, for the Ninja Warriors in 2017, that you did the Salmon Letter. Can you still, or do you still do the Salmon Letter?
Come on.
I hope you do.
Of course, you know, I haven't done it in a long time, but I can still do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
got another question?
Did you ever accidentally punch someone?
Did I ever accidentally punch someone? Or like in my life, have I ever punched somebody?
Bro.
Pardon me?
Actually punch someone on the set of Arrow.
Sure. In the first season, in the 5th or 6th episode, I broke a stunt guy's nose. In fairness to me, he had a really big nose.
After you punch him or before?
Both.
Hey, I was wondering, specifically during the second season of Arrow, you had two Katie's on the set of Arrow. Was that confusing in any way?
No, one spelled with a K, one spelled with a C. Decent answer, I feel like.
Hi again.
Hi.
Hi, I'm looking for a new buddy, so my question is, if all of we had a dog, what would make her more?
Really make you think today.
That's a great question. What would Oliver name his dog? I don't. I want to get this right.
You need a new name.
Quiver? Is that good? What do you think? Hey, what do you think Oliver should name his dog? If you did.
Archer.
That's a good one. I like that.
Archie, that's smart. Tongue in cheek.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Max, and I was wondering what your favorite thing was about filming the Arrow.
Favorite thing about
Favorite thing about filming Arrow? Honestly, sort of like what I said earlier, just wearing the superhero suit. It's so cool.
I can imagine that.
I like having my own theme music too.
Right. Hey, de costume is fly though. Was dat een goed antwoord toch? Ben je blij?
Thank you.
Next question.
Hi Stephen, I was wondering what was your favorite episode or arc in all of Arrow?
Favorite episode. There were only 100
sound simplistic. My favorite episode ever was the pilot. My favorite arc was when Barry and Oliver switched bodies. And I really liked the when Oliver was in prison. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Which TV show would you have loved to see crossover?
Say
Which TV show what?
Which television show would you have loved to see the crossover?
Oh, like with Arrow?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Can't you imagine Oliver arriving in Winterfell? Just getting super
Interesting concept.
Just getting super mad at Jon Snow and all that stuff. Yeah.
I've had a lot of time to think this, so I'm sorry, Daddy.
You're fine.
If the Arrow was actually alive right now in this day and age, who do you think he would point his service at?
Right now?
I guess.
Probably Elon Musk.
Why?
Because he posted a photo on Twitter the other day of that meme of Grant in front of my grave. That does not make me feel good.
Oh, I totally feel you. That's a great answer, right?
Thank you.
Thanks. Next question, Supergirl.
My question is, what is your favorite moment of acting?
My favorite moment ever acting?
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
Probably the first time that I put on It was either the first time that I shot a scene with the Arrow suit, or it's when in the pilot of The Flash, when I give Barry Allen his superhero name. That was so cool. Oh, one more. I grew up, my favorite movies growing up were the Christopher Reeves Superman movies. So when we were filming and I got to shoot a scene with evil Superman, and I think the line was written of me looking at him and going, "Your choice." I changed it to, "Your choice, Superman." So good.
Thank you.
Man, that sounds good. So we got another question.
Hi, if DC were looking for a new Green Arrow, would you like to try again?
If DC was looking for a new Green Arrow, you mean like in a movie or?
Yeah, in the DCU.
Did I stop?
Oh, you died.
Did I?
Who knows?
That was an interesting conversation.
Can you tell us anything about the Code 8 sequel?
Yeah, it's the movie is almost done. And the first one we crowdfunded. The second one is a straight Netflix movie. So Netflix decides when it comes out, they'll have it by Christmas, and then it'll probably come out April, May-ish. It's really good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We got that, yeah, look at his suit, man, Stephen. He's got the Stormtrooper
Good sharp.
custom thing.
Thank you. Just a quick question, big fan. I've seen your performance on WWE. Are you coming back there? Because it was really fun to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like, around the season 2 premiere of Heels, I would like to do some sort of angle on either WWE programming or possibly AEW programming, just to attract more eyeballs. And also, when I did WWE before, I did okay, but I was faking it, right? Now I actually know, I've gotten halfway decent in the ring, so I would love to go back. My wife does not feel that way, but we'll see.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got 5 more minutes, so short questions. We'll try to do the whole line if possible. If not,
Hi.
No, we'll get the whole line.
that's great, Stephen.
Hi.
Hi.
So if you could think of a funny backstory for the arrow, like right now he has a very deep one, but like the funniest you can think of, knowing the character, what would it be?
So as opposed to being shipwrecked on an island?
Yes, like the funniest one you can think of for the arrow.
I don't know. Oliver's not a funny guy.
Like in my head, since he's
What is yours?
like, since he's rich, imagine nothing really happened, he stayed rich. So like the arrow was his rapper name when he made it big time.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that. I'll go with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
What was your reaction when you heard your cousin Robbie joined the Arrowverse, the Flash?
Oh, when he played Firestorm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Love working with that guy. Very, very good actor.
So obviously you've had to fight many different characters throughout the show. Which character from the comics would you have also wanted to face?
Which character would I want Green Arrow to face off against?
From the comics.
Bruce Wayne.
That's good. That's good. Next question.
Hey, what's up? Hey, man. So, I saw your Instagram story, and I really like the way you pronounce Utrecht. So,
Did I do okay?
yeah,
Utrecht?
Can you please pronounce it?
Oh, you want him to say Utrecht once again?
Yeah.
Oh, say it again.
Utrecht.
Utrecht.
Thank you.
Not bad. It's a difficult word.
It is a difficult word.
Dutch. Yes.
Hi. So, my question was, what's the difference between working for WWE and for, you worked All In, which is now AEW. What's the difference in those shows?
Honestly, they're the same. Because the through line was my friend Cody. He was taking care of me when I was in WWE. But then when I worked All In, he was like the Vince McMahon of that show. So it felt more or less the same. Obviously, WWE is a little bit more corporate, whereas AEW and All In specifically, that was like a passion project. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think we got 2 minutes left. We're on a schedule here. I want everybody to get their answers, but let's keep it going. Squeeze 2-3 questions in. Let's go.
Hello there.
Hi. What's the scariest scene you had to make?
The scariest thing that I ever had to shoot was when Oliver, in the premiere of season 2, when we find him and Diggle and Felicity come to the island, and she steps on a landmine, and then all of a sudden we look up in the tree, and Oliver's up in there, and then he has to swing down. And they didn't want to let me do that, and I made them. And then I was 50 feet in the air, and I realized that I had made a mistake. But I couldn't say anything because I was such a dick, and I made them let me do it. I made them, anyway. that was terrifying. Thank you.
Cool. Next one.
You mentioned breaking props. What's the coolest prop you ever broke?
My pants.
Hi, I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite blooper or funny behind-the-scenes moment during filming Arrow?
Yeah, during the first season, kind of the finale or close to, Oliver and Laurel start smooching, and then he picks her up, carries her to the bedroom. This is all the blooper reel, by the way. And then he's supposed to lay her down on the bed, and I missed. Poor Katie. Thank you.
So how many more we have? I'm trying to do everybody, but
we got it. We got it.
All right, Steve, you got it.
Hi.
Hi. Is there a specific line or quote in the series that has meaning to you? Like mine is when Felicity says to Oliver that life is precious. They even have it tattooed. Yeah.
The essence of heroism is to die so that others can live.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, that's good.
That's mine. Is that good? Is that okay? Phew.
Oh, Stephen.
Hey, man.
I have a question. What was working with Megan Fox like for you?
It was great. Megan was great. Will was great. Laura Linney was great. The Turtles were great. I've got nothing but wonderful things to say about that experience.
One last thing. Can I?
Sure.
Can I take a picture with you if there's time?
We got to do that over there. Yeah. That's the rule. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Hi, Stephen.
Hey.
If you could be any DC comic film, which one would you be?
Any DC
Lobo.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see that.
Well, there we go.
Nice one. Hey, that's an idea right
Thanks,
there.
man. Hi.
You fought a lot of enemies in that show Arrow. Which one was the toughest to beat?
Felicity. No. I mean, Prometheus. I didn't beat him. He won.
How would you describe the fight scene with Rachel during this movie?
Help me out there.
Scene with?
Fight scene with Rachel.
Oh, the fight scene was so cool. Yeah, we had this crazy fight scene. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I'd never worked with swords before, and it was freezing cold.
That's some intense stuff.
That was very intense. Very, very intense.
What was the most fun obstacle on American Ninja Warrior?
The most fun obstacle on American Ninja Warrior? Well, the salmon ladder is an easy answer, but I don't think it was the salmon ladder. It was the, I ran across these blocks that just moved, and if you go slow, you're falling in the water. You just gotta go fast, you just have to commit. Thank you.
Who do you think is better, Batman or Superman?
Better. Oh.
I mean, wouldn't Superman just fly out to space?
I don't know, man. Like, it's a tough nut to crack.
It is. Thank you.
Quick follow-up on the enemies questions. A lot of them were allies of Oliver before. Which betrayal do you think felt the worst? Or for you personally, maybe?
Well, I think either Slade or when Oliver and Diggle really went like this in season 6. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you give us the one line?
One line? Just one? Any line?
The one line for you.
Oh, the one line.
The city.
Oh, sure. Have you?
Of course not.
You have failed this city.
What is your favorite character in Arrow?
Diggle.
So we're done? Last question? We're ready? Okay, so let's end this the right way. Wait a minute. I want the whole of Utrecht to be in this little clip with Stephen. I want everybody to make some noise for my man Stephen Amell. Hey, Stephen, thank you, man.
Hey, Utrecht.
Great.
Thank you all very much. This means a lot to me. Thank you, and see you all.